Hey guys, Rex here. Now, growing up in the Cold War times was different because it was normal to want to fight off Russians. That was pretty accepted behavior, pretty accepted, preparedness and caution to want to be equipped to ward off an invasion from the Russians. For the next 30 years after the Cold War, that was just silly talk. Like, oh, what do you think, the Russians are going to invade? Well, now all of a sudden, here we are again. All of a sudden, the entire world wants to fight the Russians again. There's never been a time in history that it was more politically correct to want to become a proficient partisan to fight off the Russians than now. You guys landed on it. We posted this class kind of secretly on Patreon before the invasion happened, when it still was like, when everybody was still buddy-buddy with all that stuff. But now that happened, oh man, we need to do stuff. Okay, you guys are a little behind the curve if that's the first time you ever wanted to fight the Russians, but fine. Now that everyone's on board with fighting the Russians, those of us who knew that the whole time don't have to be shy anymore about saying, hey, I'm investing in some training and I'm going to go learn how to become a partisan to fight off communist invasions. How about that? How about them apples? I don't intend to post this on YouTube, but if you are watching on YouTube, I must have changed my mind for some reason. We have this class already over half of the way sold out, and we didn't even really talk about it yet. Saw mention some stuff, just defining some terminology, but we never sat down and talked about the class, and it's already over half sold out. So I think as of this morning or last night, Mrs. Rex double-checked my numbers. There are like 5 slots left. So if anyone wanted to get together with your group or your team or your discipleship men's group or your Patriot guys, hey! Hi, are you going to help? Are you going to go play on the tractor? It's important to be able to actually take care of the little ones. Everyone, here's the funny thing. I'm watching the news, and here's these normal people in Ukraine trying to figure this stuff out all of a sudden. The worst time to train for this and try to prepare for this scenario is after the invasion starts. Your comms start to go down. You don't have power. Everyone's in a panic. You don't have the resources to really truly get prepared. You don't have the time to learn these things. Oh, Rex, it's just kind of like everyone always laughs like, oh, that would never happen in this century. Oh, okay, fine. Normal first world countries wouldn't just be invaded by communists, where they're like bombing your town with artillery and then invade. Yeah, that would never happen, right? What side of the equation do you want to be on when this happens? Here. Do you want to be in the asset column or the other column? It's up to you, man. I can't prioritize your training for you. I'm preaching to the choir. You guys are into this. That's why you're here and watching this deal, right? So you're just probably curious, what the heck is this partisan hunter class? Like, what side of the deal is this? I will include the video where Saw defines the word partisan so that you can understand what that means in the context of what we're talking about. Because that's a term that could mean whatever you want it to mean, right? So about this event, I'm just going to go through real quick and talk to you guys about the Partisan Hunter class. Is going to be June 26th and 27th, right after the training we're doing with Refuge Medical. Okay, so they'll be here like that week before, during the later part of the middle of the week, and we'll be doing an armed retainer class before that that's already sold out. These classes, by the way, we have not been pushing them or advertising them on the big channel. Just on Patreon. There's reasons for that. Filters. I want you guys to be there more than, I mean, in all honesty, we both talked about this several times. Like, hey man, if it don't fill up, that's fine. We want the right people to be there more than we want the most people to be there. But they both, I mean, the one sold out almost immediately, and this one half sold out without even really talking about the class. So this is the first video where I'm sitting down talking about the class. Right, from the frontiersmen to the first rangers, okay? to the hunters in the snow-covered mountains of Europe, which became some of the most successful snipers in history, to the hills of Italy and Yugoslavia, where common folk became partisans, to the plains of Africa, where farmer hunters became the first commandos. Partisan Hunter 1000 is designed to enhance a rifleman's effectiveness from 0 to 1,000 with their chosen system drawing from the experience in the hunting and martial fields. Are we qualified to do this class? Yeah, a little bit, okay? Teacher for the class is Saw. If you guys don't know who that is, he spent his entire life in SOF doing that stuff. Special Forces, U.S. Army Special Forces. After that, he was training guys with their switches flipped on in the professional world ever since. And this is kind of a rare opportunity. I don't know if you guys know what they do for a job. Their main job is going into like a population of people and being a force multiplier. I mean, it's one of their main functions, right? And getting them ready to fight the bad guys so they can be liberated. They can help them to liberate themselves. Okay? So, actually on paper qualified exactly for this class that is very unique in the civilian world. Nobody really offers this that I've seen in the civilian world, not what we're doing here. The skills honed by the active pursuit in the hunting fields by huntsmen have stood the test of time in their martial effectiveness when called upon by their nations to stand in the gap. This old world functional knowledge is the base at which many martial programs of instruction draw their roots. Okay? The fieldcraft of these hunters has been relearned and put into use time and time again when the need arises. We talked about this before. How did Simo, how was he so damn effective in the Winter War of 39? Who trained him? Where did he actually learn his fieldcraft? Where did he live? What did he do in his off time? How did he know how to do that? Okay? It's important to realize the effective models, where they draw their wisdom and experience, and repackage it and employ it for your current situation. This course is designed to have half the number of students as AR1, so it's a very small one, okay? And other entry-level courses. This is to maximize your instructor time as well as to fast forward your education and what can be accomplished. This is going to be smaller than AR1, which by commercial standards, and this ain't really commercial training the way I would define it, not like anything I've done before. SAW has a whole different model that we're embracing on these classes. Small, high quality, to where you can actually really get someone where they want to go on this deal. Prerequisites, you can read the prerequisites before you sign up. Okay, those are there for a reason. If you have any question on why they're there, I can include a link to the papers or maybe copies of the papers where SAW explains why they're there. There are actual real reasons why we have these filters in place, and they have been proven to work, okay? So read the prerequisites before you sign up. Make sure you're squared away on those. If you have any questions, you can type them below in the video here. This course can be executed with an AR-15, low-powered variable optic, and the appropriate ammunition like 77 grain Mark 262 or equivalent for consistent hits past 800. Okay, we're going to be shooting farther on this one. Most of the firing will be between 100 and 600, so 55 grain full metal jackets will work as well. The use of America's rifle is encouraged, as well as any other accurate centerfire platform. Whatever you got, whatever you have is your manual of arms that you understand, that's fine. Bring your favorite system or systems to ring out. Okay? You can read the details. If you're bringing any giant magnums, like a huge giant magnum, be forewarned, you might not be allowed to shoot at all the different targets and actually do some of that stuff, but bring whatever you want to. Just if you have any questions, ask them below. It is recommended, if possible, that you take this course in hunting buddy pairs, if possible. There's multiple reasons for that, okay? This will help you to develop an efficient team dialogue that will transfer into the field use. It's not required, but it's a great opportunity for buddy training. I would recommend finding a deal like that. Hopefully, wherever you guys are at, you have at least someone in your MAG who's actually serious about the martial side of their preparedness training, okay? If they're serious about it, they'll be all over this with you, okay? This is if it is not possible, no worries. You'll be teamed up with like-minded students, and we'll take turns under class watching for each other's hits and stuff like that. So, and you can check out the course scope we have, kind of what we're going to be going over. We're going to be talking about 0 to 1,000-yard data collection and logging. It's only a 100-round course. This is something where I want to talk about this just very, very briefly. I'll let Saw expound on this if he wants to later. There's a lot of different recipes for combat success. The ones that people typically use on standard infantry men in the Army is like violence of action, right? Mobility, surprise, stuff like that. Those equations, like there's 3 bars of how much time you're putting into each one of them, or how much that's going to help you be effective. In the context of a partisan, that equation is adjusted because there's a lot of stuff that's different. And as a partisan, like the tactics and everything's different. This is not like you can't just take stuff from the military world where it's in use by like major armies and just cut and paste that onto your context as a partisan, like the Ukrainians right now, right? You get a bunch of civilians all of a sudden trying to fight the Russians. You don't have the same machine as you do in the army part of Ukraine. It's a whole different deal. So this class is going to be helping you to learn what you need to learn to be effective, the most effective, without spinning your wheels in other categories. So we're going to be doing target species, zeroing considerations for maximum effectiveness in the field, determining your maximum effective lethal and ethical range for your target species with your chosen system, 1 to 100 minimum night fire. We're going to do some night fire. Ground blind construction, camouflage employment, advanced field firing positions such as rucksack and tripod supported. Rux, what kind of tripod do you need? Maybe like a knife and some paracord, a couple sticks. We'll show you some stuff, okay? You'll see. I don't want to give away too much here, but we're going to show you how it can be done the old school way, where you can utilize whatever you have around you in real life. This is going to be very real. It's not like a shooting competition type class, not a tactical competition class at all. This is like a partisan hunter class, okay? Very, very different application. Similar in some regards, but different. Target detection, scanning methods, group reference point protocols, signature reduction, stalking considerations, modifications for sound equipment management. Great attitude. That's the equipment required. Great attitude, and you can go over the equipment. All kinds of stuff on there. I'll let you guys read that. I'll post it below, okay? And the link to this class is on Rex Defense. So it has been visible. If you dig into Rex Defense, it's not like posted right on the front page. Again, there are reasons why, like guys have been asking, Rex, are you guys got any classes? Are you going to have any classes this year? It's like, yeah, man, already got mostly sold out. There's a reason. Like, you get a whole different kind of dude when you don't push stuff like that as hard, and when they got to dig for it a little bit, and when I keep it a very small pool of people to even know it exists, like where there's already filters in place. That's why Patreon gets it first. There are filters for people to get from where it's very, very easy on the main part of the road. They have to step off the road, go through a gate to get to Patreon, right? And then to get to VSL, it's a whole nother deal, right? So there are reasons for that. And it's been proven to work really good. Really, really good, high quality folks over here on Patreon. I really appreciate the mature, good discussions and the good time, the fun. And we get to be ourselves a bit more. I know I get to be myself a lot more over here too. So if you're watching this on YouTube, hi to you guys too. Still love you guys. Still love you. Totally cool. If it makes it to YouTube. Hopefully I don't have to put it on there. But if you want to do the Partisan Hunter, I thought I would explain the class just to like answer some questions, and also do it in time to where if you need to get time off, because you have to drive all the way up here. It's in Sentinel Butte, which is in southwestern North Dakota in the Badlands. Very western territory. Do plan on, read all the details in the class carefully, plan on staying at the guest ranch where it's at. Okay, it's very affordable pricing for this area in that time of year. Okay, it's like the Badlands. A lot of people come up north during the summer to hang out, so a lot of those hotels are like really hard to find room in, and they can be expensive in that area. But the guest ranch will be right on site, where you're literally like at the place where we're shooting. Okay, and that's where we eat. That's where we have any classroom stuff for like the armed retainer class. And that's where we can hang out and visit. So everyone else should be staying there. We can hang out. You can more than welcome to bring your family or your kids, because there's a lot of stuff to do up here in the summertime around June, late June, early July type time. So if you want to do a family vacation, maybe let the wife run around with the kids, shopping for trinkets, take them to the musical, which is just like 15 miles away at this other little place. All kinds of stuff to do up here. Yeah. Hopefully, if you guys have any questions, ask below. This is my official video advertisement, or my video invitation to the course. So dig the details below, and hopefully we'll see you out there at Partisan Hunter. All right, rock and roll. Rex out.
All right, let's talk about Partisan Hunter. One of the things with English is that our words are seldom very useful in defining intent or function. So we're going to have to define them a little bit to get a better picture. Partisan, what does a partisan mean for you? If you look it up in the dictionary, you find out a partisan is a strong supporter of a party or a cause, and this definition does apply absolutely to the context of the course that we're putting on. A strong supporter of the Second Amendment, of the shooting sports, of hunting, would definitely apply in that context. As well as a secondary definition of the word partisan is a member of an armed group formed to fight secretly against an occupying force. And we find this, in history with the conflict in Yugoslavia, where the partisans would come out of the woods and fight. And I think that's a very good definition as well. If we look at the definition of hunter, a lot of times people will fill in the blank with their 93%. And if you look at the articles I've written on Patreon, the 93% is you filling in the blank with whatever image that's in your head, the way you feel, etc. And look at the word hunter and try to encapsulate that image in your head right now. Is it, someone in a duck blind, someone in a deer stand, or your last experience hunting, or the last hunting show you watched, etc. We're all bringing all that to the table. Well, let's just set that aside and table that for a moment, because in this context, when we look at the word hunter, we're looking at a person that hunts, right? By Webster's dictionary, it could be a person or animal that hunts, but in this context, it's a person that hunts. Now, what is hunting? Well, hunting is seeking things out, right? There's a lot of supporting skill sets that go into the action of hunting, just like there's a lot of supporting skill sets that go into the action of being a partisan. The same thing goes with being a soldier, and I've covered this quite extensively in some of the other talks and some of the writings that, as a civilian in the United States, you're not creating a soldier. A soldier is a member of an army, and you don't have an army, right? By that definition. And you don't have the resources of an army behind you, and that's the point, is that the partisans throughout history did not have the resources of a big army or, huge deep pockets to pull from, so they had to do the best with what they had. And the same thing can go with, hunting. That's a smaller element generally. So when you take partisan and hunter and you combine those two words together, we're also looking at combining those skill sets. And I believe that the intersection of those two skill sets, if you use those definitions, is exactly where target-focused training should occur for the civilian shooter, as opposed to the martial aspects of a soldier that are based off of the logistical support of a huge force behind them or numbers. And that's why I brought up the examples before with the Revolutionary War. Those skills that they relied upon were the hunting skills that they learned. If you look at the Army Retainer course built off the Spirit of Simohoiha, where did he learn most of his skills? Well, he learned his marksmanship training, through a structured process and the veterans of the previous war and competition. But where he maintained his functional part is in the hunting fields on his farm, hunting predators. And those tactics easily transferred over to making him arguably one of the most effective snipers in history. 500 plus people met their demise in less than 90 days because of his rifle. So is it the shooting part? That's part of it. But the other part of it is all that stuff that leads up to it. And if you pay attention to one of the videos Rex did on finding your 90%, where do those two circles intersect? Right, the circle of the partisan, the circle of the hunter, right there where those intersect, I would say that's where most Americans should focus their training dollars, because those martial skills will help feed your family. Those martial skills could be called upon in the, God forbid something happened here where we are occupied. So look at it from that kind of perspective, as opposed to just trying to superimpose, the skills from the GWAT onto it. Yes, some of them transfer over, but I think a more precise way of looking at battle-focused training is to say, okay, where are resources leveraged the best? And I think they're leveraged the best when you look at those two circles of the hunting fields, the partisan fields. They intersect in the woods. They intersect in the fieldcraft. They intersect in the woodsmanship. They intersect in the situational awareness and the home turf knowledge, etc. Those places right there is where you're going to get the most for your training dollars. So hopefully this image of the Partisan Hunter course helps you decide if it's something that'd be for you or not. It's designed to be standalone, but it also builds upon the lessons in AR1. So if you can attend both, great. If not, get what you can while you can. And hopefully this will clear up some of the intentions of the course. It's not just, hey, we're going to lay down and shoot. It's also a methodology. So when you leave, you will have a training plan or a way to triage stuff so that you can be successful and know what you didn't know before you leave. So remember, carry rucksacks, not feelings bags.